Well, hello everybody. I just finished here at Staples in Oshawa getting all the flyers ready, which I'm going to show you for the B7 Summit tomorrow in Ottawa. It was an interesting day. Jonathan Bahai is tagged in this. I also tagged Benjamin Ebley, who looked at all my Washington, D.C. stuff. So I want to be very clear here, folks. Everything in Canada is opposite of that of the United States. Our policing is extremely opposite of yours. And, I did that Washington, D.C. I went to the NATO summit amongst many, many other portions of American executive, academic, and judicial branch of governments. No problem. Even the White House, no problem. I dealt with the Secret Service, no issues. Dealt with Homeland Securities, no issues. They were even the night before me and Rob, because we went to talk to him. It's a really busy place. Said, hey, I want to do this. They're like, well, good luck to you. Let's take pictures of what you got. We'll see what we can do on our end. No promises. You're just going to have to kind of join the crowd. And they thought probably won't be successful. I was. And they were smirking about it. Thought, wow, he won the Americans. I did that on my own. Handing out flyers, walking around with the sign in a suit and tie. No one in America had an issue of it. More than that, my military and police clearance that spans the United States and Canada, because I'm in nuclear, that's the only reason, afforded me the NATO summit in Washington, D.C. A non-American, Canadian citizen. Nobody gave me the third degree. Did I go through a check? Sure. Rob had to go through that too. All fine and wonderful. No one gave us any hard time. Now, my phone rings today, private number. I don't answer it. Jonathan Bahai starts messaging me. Dave, RCMP have contacted me tomorrow. They want to know where you're going, how many people, what's this about? Going through a security degree. What's this rally, protest, demonstration? Which demonstration, protest? I don't think so. It's 51st State presentation flyer, fully illegal in public space in Ottawa, to see if we could get that to Pete Hoekstra. If we happen to come across him, that's his day tomorrow, and we're going to try. Anyone who comes, suit and tie, business, everyone there is business. We're not trying to breach anything or do anything. Think about this, folks. I was able to go to the highest NATO summit and participate in Washington, D.C. as a Canadian, going through the system, no problem, amongst 5 other high institutional meetings I went to. Rob was with me, did all that. You saw it. I'm on CPAC. That's me. You can see it. I even screenshot. You can see my face. I'm in there. No problem. America, no problem with me. None whatsoever. In Washington, D.C. and all of these institutions. No problem. I did it. Was I allowed in the White House? No. Canada made sure you can't do that because you got to go through the Canadian consulate, which they won't do anymore because they don't want Canadians learning anything in Washington, D.C., let alone going through the White House learning things that I kind of teach. I get it. They don't like it. See? You don't like that in Canada. No, not good. So this RCMP calls, and like I said, tells me, oh, look, I'm here to protect the Prime Minister, MPs. You guys are going to be showing up at this. Okay, for one thing, it's a public event. 2, it's handing out flyers. Go look at all of Ottawa's city ordinance laws, equivalent bylaws they're called. No issue, none whatsoever. Public space, no issue, none whatsoever. It's not commercial, don't need a permit. Already went through all of this, folks. There are no laws in Canada in the public space restricting me from handing out flyers and inviting all you to do the same. There is no law in Canada to restrict you, or city bylaw in Ottawa to restrict you. You're not selling anything. You're there with a political purpose, not protesting, not demonstrating against Pete Hoekstra or the United States. Here, I'll show you. So here's the flyer. There's English. Sun is bright and shiny. I love it. They're very flashy. So 51st B7 Summit, 51st State. Kind of funny. Donald Trump's a funny guy. Never say never. Canada, the 51st State. National Arts Center, I said museum, but it's center. ADM, Ottawa, Ontario, the business case. And then it's got what Donald J. Trump said. I'm a very artistic person, but when I looked at that beauty, I said, that's the way it was meant to be. Sorry, this paper's flashing, and it's actually see-through for me on this end with the sun. But G7 Business Summit. And then on the back is our presentation. People have a choice to take it or not. So anyone who comes, I got a whole stack of these. That's English. And of course, I'll go through the French one in a minute. And what does it say? The business case for Ambassador Pete Hoekstra. So that's not a protest. Canada, the 51st state, and the G7 expansion through B7 initiatives 2025. We are stronger together. The USA and Canada share a unique bond with a combined GDP of over $31 trillion. This signal to move towards statehood on the B7 51st meeting would create a powerful economic bloc, enhancing global influence and stability. This move would draw Russia to the table on Arctic like never before in world history. A G8, 9, or even 10 would quickly emerge, with Brazil and South Korea eager to join in. Such a strategy would lead to energy security and cooperation that could never have been imagined in our time. We are secured together through consolidated Arctic security and economic cooperation. USA, Canada, 51st state, and Russia combined GDP of $38 trillion is reached. Arctic regional development would unlock vast energy resources, new trade routes, and enhancing global energy security. Joint security initiatives and prosperity for all would reduce tensions, promoting a more stable geopolitical landscape. We will be G10. Increased trade volumes and economic cooperation between member states will enhance GDP by 10%, enhance energy security by 12% through Arctic regional development, improve geopolitical cohesion, and global governments through unified decision-making. USA-Russia penmanship realized. That's UNSC and allies, if people didn't know that. Canada should, as I've tagged the UN in this. We will be free. Canada becoming the 51st state would be a strategic move, an economic move, enhancing security, economic prosperity, drawing Russia into cooperation, expanding global influence. Russia's return to do a G8 would bring quickly a G9 and 10. This will foster a more human rights-minded allies world order based on the promise of never say never. Donald J. Trump's promise, right? So that's the flyer we're handing out. People have a right to take it or not. I am absolutely certain the Americans would not take this as a protest, 110%. I learned that in Washington. I articulated that to the RCMP and said, listen, I don't see America taking offense to this. I don't see Pete Hoekstra or any Americans finding this to be in bad taste. I'm pretty sure they'll find it right up their alley. So just so everybody knows, because the French side of this, it's Ottawa and there's a lot of French. We have the exact same thing in French for all our French Canadians who choose to show up. You can hand out this one. Exact same thing, all in French. In the back, all in French as promised, right? All in French. For everybody. So I'll let my French Canadian 51st staters have those to hand out, and there is French delegation there. I mean, majority is going to be English, right, everybody? But there's nothing protest about it. It's suit and tie, business attire, dress nice, in a public space, no protest, nothing but handing out flyers. And you can all look at Ottawa City ordinances. You can all look at Canadian laws. You can all look at the laws of Ontario. And if you've never been to Queen's Park, Ontario, that's all public space. It's all good. Again, this is the National Arts Centre. Historical, public, taxpayer space with multitude of areas of public space for everybody that can't be restricted by law. Just because our message may not find Mark Carney and the Liberal government in power well, it does not mean the USA won't find it well, specifically Ambassador Pete Hoekstra and President Donald J. Trump. It also doesn't cause protest with the G7. It's an ideas think tank of the best business minds of the G7. It's the B7. This leads to Alberta and the G7 meeting amongst all the countries. What's decided here tomorrow, finalized by Pete Hoekstra. Now, if somebody's got a problem with that, I don't know why security teams need to meet with us or why RCMP are interested. I really don't. There's no protest. I don't know why people would be calling the police on people dressed in suit and tie and business attire, handing out flyers on a presentation that the Americans would find very well. In fact, I don't read anything in that flyer that says anything other than advancing cooperation, meeting the objectives of the United Nations Charter, and in fact making a better, stronger Canada, at least in our opinion. Now, anyone's allowed to refuse the flyer. That's okay. That's why you say, would you take a flyer? If they don't want to take it, no problem. I've done millions of these, at least. In USA with Rob, we handed out at least 300, easily done. Very few people rejected them. The majority took them. Americans, Democrat or Republican. And I had no issue, not in NATO where we gave out a pile in the conference. Generals took it. Other country generals. Now Canada didn't like it, but America sure loved it. We heard from New York Times was there, and we heard from absolutely the center itself, the highest military American center itself in the military complex. They had their choice words. They really liked our presentation. That was reality. And honestly, folks, if they didn't, or they didn't want any of my stuff there, they would have threw me out, I'm pretty sure. But it's a free country, United States. And I had no trouble with any police, no trouble with any Secret Service, no Homeland Security or Park Police. They were all very kind. In fact, we got a presentation by a ranger and Park Police on some of these very key issues about freedom, about history, about healthcare too, and the Red Cross in America. And that was its birthday month. It's just really funny, right? All I know is that my country is nothing like the United States. United States capital. I was a foreigner, a visitor, treated epically well in every single system. Did I do them all? Did I do the congressional side, the House side of things? No, I didn't. I did the executive, I did academia, and we did judicial. That's all the time I had, and it was key for my presentation. And, of course, civil society, actual Americans. We went to the American civil societies there, and it was well received at every single level, which is judicial or executive. Now, if I go back, maybe I'll try the whole congressional approach, but I liked where I was, and that worked out very well. I bet you Congress, whether it be Senate or Congress, sorry, I should say House, Congress or Senate, I probably wouldn't have any issues either. I doubt there'd be any kind of mega military presence. As I showed you right up to the House, Capitol Hill, right up there, no problem. Really late at night after we finished all our work, me and Rob, do you think there was anyone there looking to beat me down or oppress me or suppress me or silence my speech or allow me or remove my rights to assemble or peacefully present something that, you know, I showed respect for the American system? No, they didn't do any of that. And they were very kind. They wished us well and good luck. And then they were really surprised we got it done. Totally different in Canada. First thing, please tell you, we're here for the politicians. If you're a threat to that, look out. That's how I feel about it. It's their primary mandate. Canadians are not first like Americans are, serve and protect. No. In Canada, it's the politicians from top down. We're dead last. I shouldn't say that. We're not dead last. We're second last. First Peoples are dead last. That's the sad truth of Canada and Canada's Constitution and Crown. I don't write the laws. I just tell you what Canada's rule of laws are. I articulated that, I thought, very nicely to the RCMP. Tomorrow they come find us, I guess, whatever. They can talk with us. They want to talk. That's fine. But I'm going to be at the public space doing flyers, and I hope all of you do too. You shouldn't be restricted on anything you do. I know Jonathan found it very distasteful too. Like I said, it's what law is being breached here. And if you didn't want it in the public space, you could have hosted at the consulate or on some private crown property away from the public, but you want to show the USA you're a free and fair society. Do you think the USA would like hearing this right now? Do you think they'd be like, are you trying to hide these people away from Pete Hoekstra? Are you going to try to monitor them so whatever entrance they're at, you're going to try and attempt to bring Pete into another entrance so he doesn't even know it's happening? Is that it? It would be something if CBS showed up, American CBS. There was an email about them wanting to come to Ottawa, but I'll let RCMP figure that out for themselves. But it'd be pretty funny if that all comes to be, and here we are getting detained or pushed away by RCMP and some Liberal security team because they're rewriting the laws or ignoring the Constitution and the domestic laws. Like I said, it's not a protest. It's not a demonstration. It's people engaging with flyers, which is perfectly lawful. Nobody has to take the flyer. They refuse it. They refuse it. That's their right. Just like it's my right to hand them out. It's a real sad state of affairs where Canada is. And remember, everybody, I'm a Canadian citizen with police and military clearance at the highest level. And this is how you're treated when you are following the law. There's no reason why RCMP should be involved at all. Right? Why would that be a security concern? Unless it's a concern for the Liberals because you're trying to hide the fact that you really don't allow freedom of speech, freedom of assembly, or any of that. And that really you don't want the Americans to see this truth. You don't want them to see this side of Ontario and Quebec. You're deathly afraid of it. You want it to go away. You want your narrative. It's freedom of speech, assembly, and all these rights when the Crown says it is, when it makes them happy. But if it's not for their narrative, look out, you don't get it, right? I'm going to be there in full compliance with the laws because, again, it's handing out flyers in a public space. There's no law of restriction there. I don't think a bylaw can be passed in time to stop us or an amendment inside Parliament at this time prorogued. I don't see it. So that's the truth of it, folks. Anything that happens, it's completely a violation of the Constitution and the laws of not only Ontario, but of Ottawa and even the federal government. If something goes sour and all of a sudden people in business suits handing out flyers in a narrative that the United States would like to hear, and probably a lot of the B7 peoples would like to hear. And if they don't, no problem, but they should be allowed to see it, shouldn't they? They have a right to know if it's there. Shouldn't Pete Hoekstra and Donald J. Trump, if Ontario and Quebec have a desire for 51st state, shouldn't they be allowed to see that? Or is it to be hidden, pushed away? No, nothing to see here. Oh, we're going to bring you in a side entrance, or wherever they are, report to security, and we'll bring him in a different entrance so that way Pete never knows about it. I sure hope CBS shows up. I really do. 50-50, folks. I don't know. God bless. That's my video. Bye now. I actually should have tagged him. Share. Get the video out there. Bye now.